Hey everybody, and welcome to the Harrison County Library System's online computer classes. My name's Jeff Conwell, and I work up here at the Orange Grove Library. If y'all ever have any questions, please come up and visit me, or you can drop me a line at g.conwell@harrison.lib.ms.us or librarydude1999@gmail.com. Well, today's class, we're going to learn about some basic computer graphics and it's not going to be anything fancy. We're just going to be using what tools we have available here at the library. We don't have any computer graphics programs per se loaded onto our computers that the public uses. So what we're going to do is use what we have, which are Microsoft Paint and Microsoft PowerPoint. Microsoft Paint comes with most Microsoft computers, most Dell computers, and whatever. Microsoft PowerPoint you may not have, but you can use Google Docs as an option. PowerPoint is the way you do it. You're going to take an image from the internet and you can use it free for personal use only. Watch out though for copyright infringement. You don't want to get in trouble for taking somebody's stuff and then making it look exactly like their stuff. So you can tweak it however you want to, change the color of it, even rotate it around. But if you manipulate it enough, it's going to become your own piece of art. So just be aware of that, okay? Now this is a picture of a seagull that I took from the internet. And what I'm going to do is I want to make the seagull seem like it's gliding across the sea. What I first need to do is to remove the seagull from the scene so I can make the backdrop just to be a plain backdrop behind it, and the bird is going to be the only thing moving. So in PowerPoint, if you copy and paste the picture or if you save it, now what you want to do is take out the bird. And when you click on the picture on PowerPoint, you're given all the tools to go through. And if you remember from my last class that I had, we went through some of these. But when you click on the picture format, you're going to see on the far left-hand side a command that says remove background. And when you click that, your picture is going to look something like this, okay? And what you want to do is you're going to remove the seagull out. You want to just click on that. You need to play with the areas until you have just the seagull that's removed, okay? And it helps a lot if you want to, if you get closer to what you're trying to manipulate by using the zoom button at the bottom right-hand side of your screen right there, or if you click view and you zoom it out like 200% or something to where you can see clearly around the edges of the object in question. Here comes the painterly part. Once you remove the object, now you've got to fill in the gap, in this case where the seagull was made. I want to show you how somebody manipulated a very famous painting called The Starry Night by Vincent van Gogh. They made it look almost the same, but they put in a McDonald's. That's pretty funny, but this is how they do stuff like that with the tools that we're looking at. The two ways you can fill in the gap, or you can use either Microsoft Paint or PowerPoint. Microsoft Paint is a very basic image manipulation program that works well with minute details. You've only got 2 tabs here, but all the commands are very useful. This is what the Home tab looks like, the View tab looks like, where you can zoom in and out. The one that you're going to spend most of the time with, though, is your Home tab. And your Home tab, when you copy and paste your picture into Paint, it's going to look like this. And what you're going to do is you're going to take the image and you can move it over to the side by when it's all the select all command that's on there. You hit select all and you drag it to the left hand side. And this is me doing that very thing. I hit select in the image command set, and then when I do that, select all, and I move it over to the side. Okay? Select all and then move it to the side. Now, that leaves me still with some gaps on the right-hand side and the bottom. But you can click and drag on the little white dots, those are called handles, and you can bring them to the picture to make sure there's no whites showing from the picture. So here I am doing it on the right-hand side. And now I'm coming up from the bottom. The little tricky part, there's still a little white line, so I have to come in and do it a little bit more. Okay? So you click and drag on the handles and bring them to the picture. The other easier way to do it is by clicking the little, on the image tabs where it says select, and then you're going to click the little square and you're going to click and drag over the whole picture, and you click crop. So I'm clicking and dragging on the image command, the select with the square or rectangle, and hit crop. So now it's all gone. All the white space around the picture is gone. Now, if you have a good eye, you can try using the available colors to see if they match. If not, try using the eyedropper icon to sample the color nearest the white space gap where the seagull was. So here's me on the tools. I'm clicking the little eyedropper, the color probe, and I go over there next to the seagull, and I click on it, left click on it, and now the color that's next to the seagull shows up. Once you get the colors you want, you can choose any number of paint brushes and the other paint tools to suggest textures and colors to blend the colors together. You've got a choice of, you got a brush that's a solid color, that's the default. You got a calligraphy brush, that's good for tight corners, 1 and 2. You got a spray airbrush kind. Then you've got an oil brush. I find this one works particularly well with what we're doing here. You've got a crayon, a marker, a natural pencil, and then a watercolor brush. And here's me using all of those different brushes all at once so you can see how they look. Okay, there's the plain one, the default. Then you got your calligraphy pens. And then you got your spray can. Then you got your oil brush. It's really good for blending. Then you got your, I think that's a crayon. And then you got the, I forget what that one was called already. But you got your pencil, natural pencil, and the last one on there. Just eye it out and see which one suits you best in what you're doing. So watch as I fill in the gap where the seagull was using paint. I'm using the eyedrop tool, and I go next to it, and now I use the oil brush excuse me, to fill in the gaps. And it really doesn't have to be perfect, but you get it pretty close, and nobody's going to notice because it's going to go pretty fast. So we're making an image to go in front of this. This is just to give a feel for what the background is. Unless, of course, you're making a Hollywood movie, and then you got to be super exact. This gets you an idea of how it goes over. You notice all the different colored yellows around that sunset. So you're having it may even be a sunrise, I'm not sure, but you got to work with it until you're really happy with the results where it looks natural and not look like, oh, there used to be a seagull where the gap was. Okay? So basically, that's how to do that. Now, if you want, in PowerPoint, you can also try copying, or in Paint, you can actually copy the background and make a suitable chunk to cover up the seagull. So what it is, here I am going to be using PowerPoint to do that. I made a copy of the background. Now I'm going to crop it. Actually, it's not the background yet. It's just the picture, the original picture. And I'm going to measure out the height and length of the seagull to where it's going to just cover up what I need to cover up, nothing more, nothing less. So now, because I have just that size of it selected, if I move the seagull over, it's going to have just enough to cover up the seagull. And now, when you try to fit it in there, you may want to zoom in. So what you're going to see me here do now is I'm going to click the slider bar at the bottom of the PowerPoint, get close enough to see exactly where I'm going. And then you can use Paint to touch it up once you've saved the picture. And then you can stretch it out a little bit even to fill in some gaps. So if you do it with PowerPoint, you're going to need to do another thing. But when you save it in Paint, you're just going to click the File tab and click Save As. So here I am clicking Save As. I'm just going to name it Backdrop. And click Save. And then I'm going to insert it into the PowerPoint. But if you're already in PowerPoint, what you're going to need to do, you need to group the background image and the patch you made into a whole. And this is just called grouping. What you do is you take the cursor in the gray area around the slide, you hold the left clicker down, then you click and drag over the whole picture. Then the whole picture, including the patch of picture you placed over the gap, will be indicated by little white dots, which are called handles. The handles help you, as you saw just earlier, how to move your picture around and resize it. So this is me. I'm clicking in the gray area, left click, and I keep my finger on the clicker. Now you see all the little white dots there that indicates everything that I've highlighted. And then I go to the picture format and I click Group. And I group them all together. And when I move my mouse around on it, you'll see they're all united together. Okay? Then you can right click on that picture and save it as a backdrop. What you want to do now is get your seagull. You're going to make a seagull that you can manipulate across the screen. So what you're going to do is you take your original image of the seagull. You can make a copy of it or whatever you want to do, a copy of the original picture to do that. But you need to take the seagull and remove the background. Similar to how you remove the seagull from the background picture. You just click on Picture Format and then Remove Background. Here I am selecting the seagull. I'm cropping it. I'm going to blow it up. And I click on the picture format. And then I click Remove Background or Mark Area to Remove. And I check that. And now the seagull is free of itself from the background. Now, you can maneuver it wherever you want to. And the other thing to do is if you copy it in Microsoft Paint, you can just color, outline the object in blue. And this is known as blue screen, or if you do green, it's green screen. If you notice on Hollywood movies, you can see sometimes the edge of the person, like Superman flying through the clouds, he's got a blue line around him. That indicates that it was, filmed in front of a blue screen. Usually in the old ones you can see that. But anyway, this is going to make it really easy to remove all that blue when you bring it and copy and paste it into the PowerPoint. Now, once you've successfully erased the background in Paint, you copy the image by selecting all, or you can click Copy, or you can click Save As to save it as an image to insert it into PowerPoint. Then you paste and insert it into PowerPoint and remove the background by clicking it on the Remove Background tool. Anyway, to make the image to move across the screen, you're going to right-click on the slide in the navigation bar on the left-hand side, and then you're going to click on the duplicate slide to make an exact copy of the slide. In other words, here's me with the edited background picture, backdrop picture, and the seagull in the PowerPoint. What I do is I right-click on the picture, and I click Duplicate Slide, okay? And then on the next slide, you make your seagull move just a little to the right as you would imagine a bird to be flying. So I click on the duplicated slide and I move it just a little bit. Then you create a duplicate of the second slide and click on the seagull again, making it move further still. Okay? Then you make a whole series of duplicates of each successive slide, moving your bird along until it goes off the side completely. So I click right-click, duplicate slide, move the object, 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 right-click, duplicate slide, move the subject, the object, right-click, move the object, right-click, move it. You want to move it all off the slide, completely off of it. So I do one more. Okay? So now it's time to look at the magic you've created. Click on the Slideshow button at the bottom right of your screen and play your slides all together. But what you're going to want to do first, if you go to the Transitions tab at the top of the page, you can set your timer to transition the slides quicker or slower as you want. And then it also gives you the option to loop your slides to make it continuously running. So once I've set the timer out, that's what it looks like. Then if you make multiple objects, you can, in this case, make more birds. You can make even a whole flock of seagulls. Okay, I'm going to show you how to make some snow falling. And what you do is you click on PowerPoint, you click New, and then you choose the background to be blank. You can insert a picture, or you can just make like a blank background. I'm going to go hit Design, and then Background Styles. I'm going to choose this color here. And then I'm going to get a snowflake by going online and just look up snowflake and make sure that when you go to Tools, you can choose a transparent background. This is going to make it easy to take the background out. When you copy it, right-click Copy Image, and then you paste it into the PowerPoint. And it's so big, you're going to need to shrink it down. And you can click on the handle. So I'm just going to go to the picture format tools and click the sizing to make it a little bit smaller so it can actually do just that. Now, when you got on the far left-hand side, again, is the remove background picture tool, And now, if you notice, the handles are inside and cutting off some of the snowflakes. So I'm going to make the handles extend all the way out to where the whole snowflake is showing. Okay? Now, you can even change the color of the snowflake by brightening it up like that. Okay? And I'm going to shrink it down a little bit more. So I want this to be not my first slide. I want it to be blank, like it's actually starting to snow. So I'm going to cut that image out. I'm going to right-click Duplicate Slide. I'm going to hit Paste. I'm going to have it come down, but I want it to float down, and if I make it look like it's tilted from your point of view, like it's the bottom side is pointed toward you, then I just hit that little handle and press it down a little bit. I have to think of how snowflakes actually fall. And now I'm going to right-click on that. I click Duplicate Slide, and I'm going to make it go a little bit further down, but I want to make it like there's a gust of wind coming from the left, so it's tilted a little bit. And now I'm going to make another duplicate slide, and I drag it down a little bit more, but it's going to be drifting the other way. But maybe it's actually more straight now. It's falling in where the wind into the, it's just still where the wind is down here. And then I'm going to do it, right click again, duplicate slide. I move it down further, and let's say I'm going to just rotate it. If you double click on the picture, remember that brings the ribbon back up to the formatting tools. I could click flip image, and then I'm going to make another duplicate slide, move it further down still, and I'm going to have it do the same thing it did before, where it's like it's settling down to land on the ground. Then one more time, duplicate slide, and I'm just going to have it almost fade out of the picture, but not quite. Let's have it move over just a little bit more. Right click, duplicate slide, and then I'm going to make it completely go away. I'm just going to delete the picture. So now I've got a series of 8 slides with a moving object in it. I go to the Transitions tab, and I want it to be moving like 0.3 seconds. I use that a lot for some reason. And then I'm going to make it to be after 0.3 seconds. It's important once you get the transitions out that you apply that to all of the slides, because if you don't, it's just going to be applied to that one slide and the other ones will just stay there. So I'm going to click Apply to All, and starting from the top, you go to the slideshow now, and you're going to set up your slideshow where you're going to loop continuously using the timings. So we just set up the timings, and now we're going to loop this continuously. And when we go to at the bottom, you'll see that thing looks like a slide projection screen, a movie projection screen. That's where you're going to see your presentation. So let's look and see how it looks. So now you've got a snowflake falling. And if you copy this series several times, it will look like it's repeating itself. You can make what's called a GIF image, which is it repeats itself. And if I do that, hit Save As, the default format for saving a PowerPoint, of course, is going to be another PowerPoint presentation. But if you want to make a movie, you can make it into a GIF images format, and that's going to repeat everything. You can also make it into a movie, but it's only going to last for the length of that one snowflake falling. Say I want it to fall several times, I'm just going to put it in a GIF format. So let's see how that looks. Every slide, we're exporting every slide as a GIF, but that's going to make it not to be what we want. So that's actually a GIF is a moving image. You can import these into an online database and make them into a movie, but that's not going to do it. You're going to have to go to File, Save As, and make it into a movie. So we're going to do that. Windows Media File. Windows, not a meta file, Windows Media File. Sorry, I mean video. Okay. Now that we've saved it, go to the desktop and watch the movie. You can repeat it, but it's not the easiest. Let's do turn repeat on. So now when we play it, it's going to repeat it. And you can make multiple versions of this, multiple snowflakes, like I did here, and just do the same thing so that it repeats. And you can change the background into something like you want to put it in. If it doesn't have snowflakes, you won't even have to remove the image. You just use the image as it is, and it will look maybe something like this. Okay, all I did was inserted a picture that I tweaked a little bit from the internet, and now I've got two snowflakes falling on a nice little country scene. So that's how you do that. Remember, guys, if you've got any questions, just please drop me a line. My name is Jeff Conwell. You can reach me at g.conwell@harrison.lib.ms.us or librarydude1999@gmail.com. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.